So I made a video and someone left commentary that was kind of attacking me. Maybe I'm taking it personally, but he or she was saying that they didn't see the point in thinking deeply when we could acquire the same information on Google that a 9-year-old could figure out. So why are we thinking so deeply on things? And at first, I was a little agitated, but then at the same time, I respected this person's opinion, but at the same time, I felt agitated by it. And usually when I am triggered, I take it as an opportunity to explore something within myself that maybe I haven't uncovered yet. So I was thinking, like, I've been kind of in a low place, and this feeling of depression or lack of what is that called? When you just don't want to participate in anything and you just don't really want to do anything. I guess those are byproducts of depression, or whatever you want to call it. Is it really depression? Or is it just a transition? Or is it maybe just a feeling, a sensation that we give too much attention to instead of just observing and allowing to pass? But anyhow, I think, I don't know, so I was thinking maybe I do think too deeply. Maybe what is the purpose of thinking deeply? Like, why even do it? Why not just not think at all? Why not just function in this world without thinking deeply? Let's just be surface-based and approach life that way. I did that for most of my life, and I was heavily conditioned, and I was heavily influenced by everything and everyone around me, and it created this persona or this identity that totally masked who I really am. And who am I really? I'm still exploring that. It takes, I think, a pretty profound amount of time to really uncover and unmask all the conditioning that you've encountered since the day you were born. I think like I've made recordings on this previously on how I feel like, in order to feel accepted, we have a tendency to, kind of pretend to be something we're not, and to partake in activities that aren't even in alignment with our values. You know what I mean? Just because we want to be accepted. I mean, nobody wants to be rejected, right? But then at the same time, it's really ironic and paradoxical. In the process, we reject ourselves in order to be accepted by others. So I've already explored that particular plane of existence, and currently I am exploring the opposing spectrum of that, and it's quite a uncomfortable and at times scary place to navigate through. It's kind of like exploring the unknown, because all this time, did you even question who you really are, and have you really known who you were? No. And I feel like a lot of times, nobody wants to feel crucified or, ostracized. So, we put up these fronts and these masks, and then we hide like our truest essence in order to appease everyone so that we can be accepted. And then, you get these midlife crises or these existential crises, and you're just like, who the fuck am I? Who am I? Now, I don't think you could come to that question if you were not thinking deeply. So, So what is the point of thinking deeply anyways? Maybe it's to expand your consciousness, expand your understanding, your awareness, but then I can see how this can dig you into a really deep, abysmal place, because you get so deep into trying to seek for answers, to understand, to know, to become, that you just kind of become fixated in this obsession, and it becomes an addiction, and you kind of go through these loops, where it's like an unending circle. You never really find a conclusion, and you just keep going around and around and around. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And then I've kind of come to the realization that I probably loop things over and over, but it's not even that. It's about getting a particular topic and then seeing all the infinite connections and sub-connections and it just never ends, and it's overwhelming and it's stressful. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I just feel like everything has its purpose, everything has its function, everything is at a certain level of progression based on its level of perception, and everything is like kind of exploding and imploding at the same time, and all things are necessary. It's almost like deconstructing and reconstructing, and this is what we're going through, right? Constantly, consistently. And the things that are old and outdated are being have reached their expiration point, and they're kind of like dying out in order to make space for a new. And then I'm like, so what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of living and dying, thinking so deeply, not thinking so deeply, putting a purpose onto something? I mean, does any of this really have a purpose? What is the purpose? And I was thinking, like I said, for most of my life, I was really surface dwelling. And now that I'm going deep, I've become so hypersensitive, and I've opened up an aspect of me that is so complex that it's almost unfathomable. Like, he can't even really understand it, And then that just kind of puts me in a state of anxiety, and I get really depressed. And I just don't know. I don't know. And that's the thing. At least I can admit that I don't know. I'm not trying to make like I know everything. I'm still exploring this. I still haven't really figured it out. And it's kind of paralyzing, because when your mind is wired to like constantly seek ways of refining things and deconstructing them in order to enhance them, and then you just find that it's never ending, and then what is the real purpose of it, really? It's just kind of like, you just want to kind of throw your hands up in the air and just say fuck it. Like, I don't want to participate in anything. I just want to like sit back and observe and let things happen around me, inside of me, effortlessly. I was like, what are we working for? What are we striving towards? What is the ultimate goal? And then I was thinking, like, like, there's a part of me that thinks that like everything is so dysfunctional that I don't even want to participate in it. But at the same time, it's like, what is your perception of dysfunctional? For one person, the dysfunction might be absolutely functionable. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, I think our perception and our expectations of our vision is in relation to our vision, how we think things should be, how we think things are supposed to be, but then what if that's not even correct? What if that's just one tiny fragment of what this all is? I don't know. I just don't know. And I'm confusing myself. So I'm just going to end it. I don't even know if I'm going to rewatch this. I just know that I'm using this to decompress, to de-stress, and to get it all out. But as far as I can see, from my own personal perception, I feel like everything's dysfunctional. And everything is just going through hell. Not going through hell, it's going to hell. And then it's like, I don't feel I have the capacity or the capability to even fix or save anything. And who am I to say I'm supposed to fix or save anything anyway? That's pretty arrogant. So maybe I should just concentrate on myself and what I should be doing, and maybe like not even try to do anything really, and just let and allow things to be. And that is my purpose, and that is my function. Instead of trying so fucking hard to fucking make sense of everything and find meaning or purpose in anything, maybe things just happen. Maybe things are constantly falling together and falling apart simultaneously all the time, and we don't have control over it. But at the same time, they say, like, know thyself and master yourself, and then you can come to this realization that you are a creator, you are God, you are, prime creator. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about that. Is that egoistical? Is that an egoistical point of view to think that you're so divine? Or are you really divine? And if you are, like, why would you even want to try to do anything? Why don't you just let everything happen around you? Does that make sense? I have no idea. And I don't care anymore. So I'm going to stop this. And I probably won't post this because I sound like a fucking jerk. Amen.